Hey folks, Dad here with Elevation Diecast Racing. It is race day. It's time for Pedal to the Metal, number 14. Where it's time to send 32 metal-based cars down the track and see if we can get any kind of speed out of them. Who's going to emerge victorious and who possibly will get into the case ranks. And is there anything fast enough to get into the top tier? Current track temperature is 76 degrees. The track has been cleaned of any debris that could have been lingering. And without any further ado, in lane number 1, since 6870 Ford Mustang Mach 1, driven by Dennis Taylor and Zelda Diecast Racing. They'll be taking on from the Red Line series, it's the 1970 Camaro, driven by Chaz D, Joe Clayton, 7th Avenue Diecast, Your Nightmare Racing, and Brian Creasy of the Hot Wheels Underground. Let's see who takes it down the lane first. Oh my Lanta, 2067. I don't know. We'll run them again. Only because the Camaro just whooped the Mustang. Gotta see that again! 2068. We'll move the Camaro on to round number 2. Next up in lane number 1, driving the Clover car, bathtub, hot tub, on wheels. It is driven by Dutch Clutch Racing and GNR Vintage Diecast Racing. They'll be taking on the Lakester from the Hot Rods, 5+3 pack. So, driven by Ray Sugar of Sugar Booty Racing. Let's see who gets down the lane first. Oh man, look at the hot tub go. 2090 to 09. And after run number 2, hot tub pulls way out front, stays there. 2097 to 19 will move on the hot tub to round number 2. Next up, and I forgot, Ray switched cars. So that was actually a ghost driver in the Lakester. So he actually picked this bullet nose. I forgot to erase that comment. So it is Sugar Booty Racing driving the Torpedo, taking on the 1999 first edition 1970 Chevelle, driven by Zamac Speed Shop, Keith Smith, Steel City Mafia Racing, and the Cash Money Boys. Good race. Chevelle swimming. Enough to win though. 2079 to 03. Let's see if that Chevelle can hold it steady. Wow. 2086. Might be a detriment in the later rounds, but moving on to round number 2 is the Blue Chevelle. Next up in lane number 1, in the Shelby Cobra, be taking on the Gran Turismo Nissan GTR, driven by Gary over at Bathurst Diecast Racing. Ooh, Nissan with a 2075. Wow, let's switch lanes. 2075 is the time to beat. Nissan GTR getting faster. Bathurst Diecast rolling on to round number 2. Next up in lane number 1, it is Antonio Veloce Excelente, driven by 131 Racing, be taking on that 70 Chevelle from China, which tricked me. I couldn't see through the China plastic. It's a plastic base. But he's going to run anyway. Let's see what happens. I like Antonio Veloce. Ooh, but the Chevelle puts up a fight. 2084, let's switch lanes. 2084 is the time to beat. And Veloce putting him away. Moving on to round number 2. Next up, staged and ready in lane number 1 is going to be the Volkswagen Beetle, driven by the Kibitzer Racing and Scale Racing Channel, taking on one from the 8-pack, driven by RC Addicts. Let's see who gets down the lane first. Wow, the Bug taking off. 2087 to 11. 2087 is the time to beat. And the Bug will put him away. 2087, pretty consistent. Moving on to round number 2. Next up in lane number 1, it's going to be Mr. Bill from the Pixar series, taking on the Way Too Fast from the 8-pack. And this one is going to be driven by More Volume 5920 Diecast Racing. Ooh, Bill gave him a run, but 2:08.0, that's a good time by that Way Too Fast. And I think Bill is going to end up in the chop shop after this. Oh yeah, Way Too Fast, rolling a 2:07.9, getting faster. That'll move him on to round number 2. Next up is going to be in lane number 1 from the Vintage Racing Club series. It's the 55 Corvette, driven by Lobotomy Scam and his opponent over here in lane number 2. Driving the sidekick is Northern Roads Racing, DXP Diecast Racing, and the Chase Family Racing. Wow, 2:06.2 to 9.2. I don't know, I guess we'll just run them again, why not? He gapped him the good that time, 73 to 03. Oh my Lanta. Sidekick moves to round number 2. Okay, next up, moving to the right side of the bracket. In the yellow, Ferrari F40, driven by Bavarian Diecast Racing, Numbskull Racing, Henry Stanzlowski, and K's Racing. They'll be taking on the Fat Fender 40 from the Hot Rods 5-pack. This one will be driven by NZ Racing. Wow. Fat Fender 40 tried to keep up, but the F40 coming victorious. 2:07.4. 2:07.4 and a can't catch up beat. 2:06.6. Oh my Lanta. Still got him by 20 thousandths. Ferrari F40. Moving on to round number 2. Next up, it's the updated version of Funny Money in the armored car in lane number 1, taking on the Dodge Dart, driven by Larry Stipe in lane number 2. Come on, Larry. Oh, man. Funny Money took his money and ran 2:01.5. It's like a 50 thousandths beat. And the Dart swimming all over the place. Funny Money moving on to round number 2. Next up, staged and ready in lane number 1 from the Snack Time series, it's the Monte Carlo concept car, driven by Alva 1370 Racing and Chris Hood. They'll be taking on Otis from the Pixar series. This should be a good race. Oh my Lanta, Otis putting up a fight, but the concept 8.6 is the time to beat. Good race. 7.8. Moving the Monte Carlo concept to round number 2. All right. In lane number 1 from the Gran Turismo series, it's the 20 Toyota GR Supra, driven by E67 Diecast Race Team. He'll be taking on another one from the Synchronized Swimming Club. It's one from the 8-pack. I'm just going to call him the Swimmer. Yeah. 2:08.4 will be the time to beat. Woo, swimmy, swimmy. 2:08.5, moving the Supra to round number 2. Look at the skinnies on that metal base. Here we go with a couple from the Gold Hot Ones series 2011. In lane number 1, driving the purple Solaire is Milestone Racing, Dad's Race Team, Griffin Soul Diecast Motorsports, Diecast Show Customs, Eamon's Crazy Channel, and JC Hayes taking on the Fat Fender 40, and that will be driven by NZ Racing. Wow. 2:07.6 by the Solaire, and 2:07.6 and way too much to overcome. 2:07.5 pushes the Solaire to round number 3. All right, next up in the Speed Savage from the 8-pack, driven by Aramis Rodriguez, taking on the 96 Mustang convertible, which surprisingly went unpicked. We'll put that one in Isaiah's race team. He likes Mustangs. 2:08.2 is the time to beat. 2085 moves that Mustang convertible on to round number 2. Next up is the mystery car, which is a MX-48 turbo driven by Kirk Parker, taking on, ooh, look at that, it's another bug. It's actually a Fiat, but it looks like a Volkswagen. I always get those confused. MX-48 turbo. Woo! 2088. Let's see what he does in the other lane. Mystery car rolling in lane number 2. Gapped him this time. 2089. I'll get him to the second round. And last but certainly not ever least, it will be another one from the 8-pack, taking on the First Lady of Diecast, Claire Gunzer, driven by 2 very, very distinguished and top quality teams and racers in diecast racing today: Redline Salvage Inc. and Cut Rocker Diecast. Good luck with your pick, gentlemen. Ooh, 2063. Uh-oh, Claire's really fast. We're not going to run that again. That little bitty roadster don't belong on the track with Claire. All right. I think we got the turtles back in the parking lot. Here's who's moving on to round number 2. Should be a little faster from here on out. Looking good, looking good. Up first is going to be the hot tub and the 70 Camaro. Camaro 72 to 88. 2072 is the time to beat. Ooh, 2071 moving the Camaro to round number 3. Next up, staged and ready, is going to be the 70 Chevelle taking on the Nissan GTR. Wow, GTR 68 to 73. Let's switch them. 2068 is going to be the time to beat. Wow, 2065 to 67. Oh my Lanta, the Nissan putting out the Chevelle. Wow, I think that's an upset. Nevertheless, the Nissan moving on to round number 3. Okay, next up is going to be the Volkswagen Beetle taking on Veloce Excelente. Excelente out front. Oh, the Beetle! I thought he was going to punch back. 83 to 86. Let's switch those lanes. Beetle on the inside, needing a 2083 to advance. Oh, so close. But Veloce with a 2081, getting him into round number 3. Staged and ready is the Sidekick, taking on the 8-pack Way Too Fast. Wow, Sidekick, 2070 to 81. We'll see if Way Too Fast can overcome an 11 thousandths. I don't think so. He just gets out of the gate way too fast, and a 2057, fastest time of the night, laid down by the Sidekick. But I assure you, that won't be the last time we see Way Too Fast. But for now, Sidekick, moving on to round number 3. All right, staged and ready in lane number 1 is the Ferrari F40 taking on the upgraded Funny Money. A lot of folks banking on this Ferrari. Let's see how it goes. F40 getting it done with a 7.7 to 96. That Ferrari might get past and into round number 3, but he better find another gear going into round number 4. Ooh, 6.7's getting closer, and that'll move him into round number 3. Next up, staged and ready, will be the Monte Carlo concept car taking on that sweet 2020 Toyota Supra. Wow, Supra taking him out. Wow. Let's roll that again. I was fully expecting that Monte Carlo concept to wake up. But it is the Toyota Supra. Wow, moving into round number 3. Next up will be the Solaire taking on the convertible Mustang. Wow, good race. 72 to 79. Let's switch lanes. 2072 is the time to beat if that Mustang wants to compete. And the Solaire pulls away with a 69, moving him to round number 3. All right, next up is the mystery car, the MX-48 Turbo, taking on Clairvoyant Claire. Yeah, 5.8 by Claire. Well, that's going to move her to round number 3. Why not? One more run. Ooh-wee, 5.7. Another 20,000 beat. And Claire is convincingly moving on. Ah, yes, my lovely Claire. And then there were 8. Here's the 8 fastest of this particular Pedal2TheMetal race. Who will emerge victorious? Round 3 kicks it off with the 70 Camaro taking on that Nissan GTR. Good race. GTR pulling it off. Wow, 2065 to 70. Camaro needs to beat a 2065 or he's packing it. Packing it up. And 2065 once again. And the Nissan moving to the quarterfinal round. Wow. And to see who will take on the Nissan in the semifinals, does Antonio Veloce have what it takes? Have what it takes to take out the Sidekick? Not even close. 54 by the Sidekick. Uh-oh. Sidekick might be rolling away with it. And Antonio Veloce will sign off. Sidekick going to round number 4. Moving over to the other side of the bracket is the surprising Supra in lane number 1, taking on the Ferrari F40. I gotta tell you, if this Supra takes this Ferrari F40 out, that's gonna be an upset. F40, 72 to 82. Let's switch lanes. Can the Supra find another gear? 2072, the time to beat. Very close, but not close enough. The Ferrari F40 moving into the semifinal round. All right. In lane number 1 will be the Soler CX4 taking on Claire Gunzer. Let's go, Claire. Wow. She does not even look back. 61 and a 12,000 speed. Can the Soler catch her? Nope. Claire, as a matter of fact, gapped the Soler. Oh, my Lanta. Moving on to the semifinals is Ms. Claire Gunzer. Semifinal round. Here are your participants. The Nissan GTR, Sidekick, Ferrari F40, and the beautiful Claire. Well, did the final 4 be who you thought it was? Let me know down in the comments what you thought and who you thought would win this race if you didn't pick a car. We got the Sidekick taking on the Nissan. This is for who's going to the final race. Wow, Sidekick. Oh my Lanta, 55 to 70. I don't see that Nissan pulling off. Oh my goodness. 2055. Wow. Well, let's see it. Sidekick getting out and staying out. Now has a 5-3. Be moving on to the final race. And staged and ready is Claire Gunzer in lane number 1 and the Ferrari F40 in lane number 2. Claire not even wasting time, 56 to 68. Switching lanes, 56 the time to beat. Claire putting away the Ferrari in convincing fashion, moving on to the final race. And there it is. It'll be the Sidekick taking on Claire. But first, it's the race for third. Ferrari F40 or the Nissan GTR. GTR. 64 to 66. We'll switch lanes. 2064 is the time to beat. Wow, Nissan with a 61. And he will be your third place. And for the final race, first car to win 3 is going to be declared Pedal2TheMetal 14's ultimate winner. And yeah, this is going to be good. These cars are both close in speed. Let's see who takes it down the lane first. Sidekick, 50 to 56. Oh my Lanta. I don't think the Sidekick's going to be denied. Gets out, stays out, 52 to 56. It's awful close. But I think the front end of the Sidekick really gives him the advantage. If you look up close, he doesn't have very much holding him on the line as Claire Gunzer. So I don't think Claire can get ahead of him. She's just not fast enough. And Sidekick. Ooh, the 2049 is going to be your winner of Pedal to the Metal 14. And there you have it, folks. Your overall winner is going to be the Gold Hot Ones Sidekick, driven by Northern Roads Racing, DXP Diecast Racing, and the Chase Family Racing. Coming in second is the ever beautiful Claire Gunzer, driven by the distinguished Redline Salvage Inc. and Cut Rocker Racing. And coming in third from Bathurst Diecast Racing, it's Gary. Congratulations on picking this week's winners. Of course, you know what time it is. Let's see if we can get into the ranks. Number one currently in the 62 gram and up weight class. You know it. It is Tiger Wheels Policia Municipal Toa Baja. Let's see if he can get himself a win against Pedal to the Metal 14 winner, the Sidekick. Wow, good race. 42 to 50. We'll switch lanes. Sidekick will need a 42 and greater than an 8,000 beat to take him. 47 and won't do it. Let's see if he can take out the number 2 Tiger Wheel Chevelle. Ooh, good race. 48 and a 10,000 beat by the Sidekick. 2048 and greater than a 10,000 beat. Oh, and the Sidekick's going to get in for number 2 spot. So that'll put the second Sidekick that I have into the 62 gram and up ranks, sitting at number 2 from the Hot Ones series. So let's see where Claire will go. Let's see. Well, let's just put her up against the Chevelle and see how far behind she is in the ranks. Wow, 2052 to 4. 2052 and greater than 2, the time to beat. And Claire will not get it done. Let's see how she fares against Han Solo in Carbonite. Han Solo taking her for a ride also. And yeah, can't get past Han. Let's see if she can get past my Noodle. Oh no, Noodlehead 51, wow. Noodlehead may be getting faster. 51 to 55, I think Claire's got it. 51 and greater than 4, the time to beat. 50 to 54, and the Noodlehead will keep it. All right, it's Claire taking on Randy. Randy showing her who's boss. 49 to 51, and 49 and greater than 2. Claire cannot overcome it. How about the J.C. Whitney Fat Fingered 40? She does get him. 55 to 56. And switching lanes. 52, wow. Pretty surprised Claire isn't a little faster. Does not beat the other Tiger Wheels either, but getting closer. Heavyweight ranks are pretty tight. 57. And I think Claire might finally place. Oh, the bus outran her. Oh, my Lanta. That's the fastest that bus has ever ran, too. 2057 is the time to beat. Wow, Claire. Oh. Well, this will be for spot number 10. And the GTO. 2053 to 55. 2053, the time to beat, and a greater than 2,000ths. And Claire will place 10th overall in the heavyweights. And coincidentally, that will be my fastest Claire. Then we have Claire there. Then over in this next class, we have a Claire there and a Claire there. We have Claire everywhere. Well, that's going to do it from us over here at Elevation Diecast Racing. We're going to see that Nissan, the Ferrari, and numerous other cars that have made it back from the Chase Family Racing probably when I get back from my next round of work. I got to go do some work and then I'll be back. We'll probably go live. So, from all of us over here at Elevation Diecast Racing, Thank you for picking a car and participating. I think we found a way to beat the YouTube goofy algorithm. If your car isn't fast, man, at least it'll look good on the shelf. See ya.